Hello everyone, so this video we're just going to have a look at starting a Java project, and then once we've got one up and running we'll have a look at a simple output program. So let's get started. So first thing I'm going to do is open up Eclipse, so you can open up whichever development environment that you're using, and I'm going to see this, and you can see I've changed it to where I normally store my Java projects to the desktop. So I did this by just clicking browse, and I chose my desktop rather than having it in my Java Eclipse projects. Okay, so the reason I've changed it is just because I want you to see what it looks like when you don't have any projects created, and also I just wanted to show you how you change the location in case you want to change the location of your projects. Right, so you click launch and Eclipse will load up. So if you haven't had any Java projects before, you will get a screen like this. So you've got your workspace, which is empty, and here where your Java projects would normally be listed, you will get these options here. So you'll see one of them says create a Java project. So I can click on that, but if I already had Java projects here, this wouldn't be here. And in that case, I would have to click File, New, and then Java Project, or I could right click or double finger click if you're on a Mac, the background, and that would give me a new option and then a Java project as well. But since this is my first one, I'm just going to click create Java project. Then I'm going to give it a name. I'm just going to call it my first Java. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm using my default GRE, which is 21.0.2 in my case. And then if you are just starting out fresh, this box here will probably be ticked. If it is, make sure you untick it. And then you can click finish. And there's your first project. If I open this up, I can see inside this folder here, which is empty, is where all of my documents for my Java project will be stored. And then this little tab here, when I expand that, you'll see all of the Java libraries that I could use when I'm creating my program. Okay, so as I said, I created this and I stored it on my desktop. So if I go and look into my desktop here, you will see here's my first Java project. And when I open this up, you've got two folders. So you've got this first folder I look at, which is actually second on the list. And this is where all of your documents will be stored. And then you have this bin folder here. Okay, now all this will do is every time you create a new class or something in your project, it will create it in the Java language in the SRC folder, and then it will create a binary version of that program in the bin folder. So that's all that is. Okay, so let's get started on doing some code. So once you've got your project created, if you either make sure you're clicked on it and click file and new and class, or you can right click or double finger click on a Mac and then new and class like that. And when you're doing this, first thing you're going to do is name it. So I'm just going to call it app for the first one. It doesn't really matter what you call it for now, just because we're just learning how to do it. And then down here where it says public static void main, make sure you click it. Okay, now this won't prevent your program from working, but it will save you a little bit of coding, so it'll save you a little bit of time once we click finish, and I'll show you what I mean now. So because we clicked on the public static void main or create one, it meant that Java, or Eclipse I should say, wrote this code for us. All right, now this line of code here is just a Java comment, so I can delete it or leave it in, it doesn't really matter. But what it does mean is anything behind 2//, the Eclipse and Java will not read it. Okay, so the Java virtual machine won't read it. All right, so let's have a look at what we've got here. So first of all, we have just this part here. It's this, you'll see this is the name of my folder. Okay, so the name of my project, my first Java project. Then here we have the class that we created called app. All right, so remember we have our project, and then inside of our project we have our class, and then inside of our class we have the method that we made, which was the main static void that we clicked to create it, and this is where we're going to write our code. So let's have a look and write our first program. So inside of our main method here, we're just going to write system with a capital S dot out dot print ln open brackets open speech marks type something hello year 12 close speech marks close brackets, and don't forget at the end of every line of code in Java we need to write a semicolon. And now if I just press play, click OK here, you'll see the code is ran down here. So I can write another line of code here. So again, system dot out dot print ln open brackets open speech marks, this is my first Java program, close speech marks close bracket semicolon, and then if I press play you'll see it runs both of the lines of code. Alright, now just to show you about the comments, if I click at the start of this first line of code here and I put the 2 forward slashes, you'll see first of all it grays it out, so you can kind of guess that it's not going to run it. But if I just run it to show you, you'll see that it misses that line of code because I've put it inside of a comment, and it just prints out the second line of code. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the first tutorial here. Just remember, when it comes to programming, we need to be coding a lot. Okay, so think about it this way: when you come to do your internal assessment, you will need to be coding a lot. Now, the more you code now, the less you will have to learn to do your internal assessment later on. And remember, your internal assessment is worth 30% of your overall grade, all right, for standard level, 20% for higher level. So the more we do now, the more you will learn it, and the less you'll have to do later on, which means you can spend more time actually doing your assessment. All right, I will see you in the next video where we look at data types and creating variables.